I was in the middle of eating dinner, but man, I just couldn't get it all down. Oh wow. Stuff getting auto-modded in my Twitch chat. Oh my god, load up, Twitch. I'm trying to make sure it's alive. No. What even happened today? I didn't roll out of bed until 1 o'clock, embarrassingly enough. Stay up way too late after stream, doing nothing. There was actually an anime convention here in Houston, all the way in the NRG Center in central Houston. I popped in for like one day. I bought a 3-day badge like late last year, or way last year, for $50 because it was early bird fee. And I only went in for one day, and I just went through, you know, the merch alley and then left. There wasn't much else going on. There's plenty of like actors, voice actors and stuff hanging out there, but that's not particularly what I'm interested in. I guess voice actors are a bit of celebrities themselves these days. But to a certain extent, it kind of gets annoying when every character sounds the same. So yeah, I didn't go today. Today I went out and I found a place that does Detroit-style pizza right near me. Instead of some place that I found well inside Houston. Houston proper. Probably not what I should be doing for bulking. Like, to make it up, like, in this afternoon, like, for dinner, I broke out some, like, sous vide turkey that I have frozen somewhere. And then reheated that. Like, I basically thawed it out with hot water. And so it was edible, but man, was it dry and unappetizing. After just microwaving it. So I was trying to make it up. Like, that's my protein for the day. That's way less than I need in a day. But ultimately, it's like the weekly average. I probably just need to get better with my diets on weekends. Instead of eating out, admittedly trying to go for, like, you know, heftier meals, heftier protein meals when I'm out. Just like, you know, trying to stick to a diet. also doesn't help that, you know, I don't get up early in the mornings on weekends. Other than that, apparently the big con that like everyone wants to go to is KatsuCon, which apparently I guess is in some hotel in Maryland. Seeing a ton of shit out of that. People getting fear of missing out, but I've already got like my plans for this week stacked up. You know, FaceCon, OffCai, and my NYC. SumiCon Vegas is happening, but I am not going to Vegas solely for that, for that type of con. I don't even think I want to go back to the SumiCon, SumiCon Houston. I don't know, they'd have to have something there to really entice me, and I'll probably, you know, just buy like a day ticket and show up for whatever that is and leave. Yeah, so those are the big things to look out for. I have it in my head, like, I need to try to balance. Like, I'm trying to make some sort of, like, gender bend cosplay for OffCai and FaceCon, and then try and do something normie for Anime NYC. I'm thinking I might just, like, you know, phone it in for, you know, not show up in cosplay, except, you know, for myself, because I have this plaid orange flannel that I have. This is basically what I wear. This is what I wore. This is what I can wear, because I based my model off some clothing I actually have. So, I don't know. There's somebody I thought maybe I could reach out to commission something as a base level that maybe I could add on to over the years, because, you know, I'm also working, you know, 9 to 5 on a regular schedule. Oh, I don't know. I'm getting distracted by shit on Twitter that I'm not even showing. Let me just put up something entertaining. Excuse me. Dear God, what the hell was that? Oh yeah, the gay ass shit all the cosplay girls get up to while they're at conventions. It's gotta be like a guy looking on like, what the fuck? And, you know, also like feeling dead inside, like, I'll never have anything like this. It should have been me, not her. Yeah. Jesus, I've seen what you've done for others, and I want that for me. No, you're a guy. No girl's gonna want to like bash their boobs against your head. At least not without something in exchange. Same shit. Hold up, where the fuck? I tweeted under this shit. No, wait, the fuck? Somebody quoted that. Hold up, where is it? Oh yeah. So I'm pretty sure that's her. This is Toby in the middle here, and then here's me commenting into the void. The gay ass shit you women get up to at conventions. I didn't even know this person existed until actually I ran into them in a Nimi cosplay at Holiday Matsuri. Oh yeah, and then this whole thing with her having the full mint standee in her hotel room. At least I'm getting some likes off of this one. She did a jazz show? Alright, what the fuck else is going on today? Oh, debate heats up for forgiving $1 million student loans for high-earning orthodontists. Taking out $1.5 million in loans to make $300K a year selling parents braces for their kids is generally the worst financial decision than taking out $200K in loans to study like philosophy or something. That $1.5 million loan amortizes to $10,000 a month for 30 years. Yeah, where's my, oh yeah. Yeah, so the point is like somebody like took out a bunch of money and he's like having trouble paying it all back. Paying it all back. My debt is too high to loan more for an orthodontic practice. My standard payment is over 10 years. It's just under 20K a month. Not doing that BS. Any tips on how to get out of the scenario with an optimal way would be appreciated. So my most shit-lit take is that student loans must be made dischargeable in bankruptcy. Okay, and so the counter to this is, the problem with discharging student loan debt is we can't let an orthodontist stick society with $1 million in unpaid student loans while retaining the credential and professional network that entitles him to $300K job. If we do this, it has to come with leaving a partner track job in private practice and serving Medicaid or VA patients for like 10 years, earning something like $70K, but with no debt payments. At this point, I think the government should have like an expanded program like, we will give you money to go study, but in return, you owe 5 to 8 years, depending on the term, to work in some government format, in some way for the government, at a reduced salary than what you could get out in the private sector. Or far more generous loans with like incredibly low interest rates. So just already bake that into the cake that the government will give you money to go to college, but you have to work for the government for that. Maybe there's not enough government postings for that. And, well, there's a whole chain here. I have a strong gut feeling that the unfairness of student loan forgiveness, but discharging in bankruptcy seems fine to me. It's already a moral concession allowed for practical reasons that mostly make sense. The main reason it's not dischargeable in bankruptcy is that a student fresh out of college has usually very few assets, high debt, and so would be heavily incentivized to declare bankruptcy immediately after finishing the degree. The theoretical risk of that is very easy to understand, but it seems to way underrate how seriously most people take bankruptcy. I'd be quite surprised if that actually happened in large numbers. Strategic bankruptcies happened almost immediately after the first generation of student loan recipients began in 1965 graduated, which is why Congress responded in the 1970s by restricting bankruptcy with a valid hardship. One law review article says Congress's fears were unfounded because only 1% of loans were discharged in bankruptcy, so the anecdotes of deliberate abuse didn't matter. I'd counter by asking whether 1% increase in borrowing costs is irrelevant, and if any fraud problem that began at 1% stayed at 1% in perpetuity. So, yeah. People just start strategically going bankrupt as soon as they like get the degree. Oh. So at this point, like, if people are still struggling with debt, so if that means that without a valid hardship, so if we're just like not in that at that point, we're not getting the valid hardship, and people are still tons and tons in debt and just not making payments, I guess that says that maybe the valid hardship is a little bit too high. Threshold is a little too high. But again, just like conscripting the people to do work for the government, I think is, or incentivizing people, giving people money to get degrees, but in exchange they have to work for the government in some capacity. And, you know, maybe some people are not as ambitious and might just end up staying there to avoid change. You know, people sometimes can get sedentary and maybe you'll lock them in as a consistent government worker if they're particularly unambitious. I don't know, what else is the commentary on that? Oh, new metal debate, revives memories of... I still don't understand what the heck new metal is. Viral video falsely claims Japan's bans halal food and moss. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I remember this video. Oh, it was from the dissolution of the Japanese parliament, but everyone's taking it as, oh, Islam is banned. And again, apparently it's just always the rule that the outgoing party chants banzai. outgoing party in power. Japan is not enacting nationwide bans on halal food, mosque, calls to prayer, or street prayer. Multiple fact checks are reporting showing that no such laws, disputes, or are about local opposition and accommodation, not legal bans. So, all right, I guess I might as well open this up. Is this paywalled? No. All right. Claim Japan is the only nation that does not give citizenship to Muslims. This is false. People who are not natives to Japan can acquire Japanese nationality by naturalization, although that is probably incredibly small amount of people. The website for the Japanese Ministry of Justice and law firm Tokyo Immigration Service make no mention of religion as a criterion for naturalization. Permanent residency is not given to Muslims. Propagation of Islam in Japan is banned. This is false. Japanese news outlet Asahi Shimbun cited a study by Tanada at Waseda University saying the number of mosques in Japan has increased from only 15 in 1999 to 113 in March 2021. Some would say that's too much. Reuters found no article in the Constitution of Japan banning the propagation of Islam. Well, it doesn't have to be in the Constitution. It can be just normal law. Article 20 says that freedom of religion is guaranteed to all. It also says no person shall be compelled to take part in any religious act, celebration, rite, or practice. All right, just because the Constitution said freedom of religion is guaranteed to all doesn't mean that in practice, you know, that's a nice lofty statement to put out there, but how in practice is it? In the University of Japan, Arabic or any Islamic language is not taught. This is false. There is no University of Japan. I mean, all you had to do was say universities in Japan. But institutions such as Tokyo University for Foreign Studies and Osaka University offer Arabic language courses in Japan. One cannot import a Quran published in the Arabic language. Muslims must follow Japanese law and language. This is true, but it's not exclusive to Muslim people. All right, what is this? There's no Sharia law in Japan. It's unclear what is meant exactly by this claim, but freedom of religion is protected in the Japanese constitution. There's no evidence of a ban specifically on Sharia law. Sharia is a body of Islamic religious law based primarily on the Islamic holy book, the Quran, as well as words and actions of the Prophet Muhammad. It is a legal framework that regulates both public and private. Sharia covers a broad range of issues including worship, commercial dealings, marriage and inheritance, penal laws. Article 20 of the Constitution guarantees a freedom of religion, thus allowing Muslims to practice Sharia law privately. But then you can get to, in the UK, where Sharia courts get sanctioned by the UK government under independent arbitration laws, which, you know, or there was even some guy in Austria, I think it was, who like got stuck in Sharia court, and then some Muslim Sharia court, privately run Sharia courts, and then, let's see here, let's see if I can find this story. Can you find a story about some Austrian guy getting ruled that he must make some sort of payment from a Sharia court, and the Austrian government and slash judicial system will not back him up. Let's see if I can find this exact articles that, you know, that's a little bit hard to believe, but I remember seeing, it might have been maybe it was only a Reddit post, so, you know, maybe take that with a grain of salt. I still have that fucking video of them banging their boobs against that one girl's head on another browser. I should move off of that, so I'm in my bookmarks. Oh yeah, anybody remember this song? Sparked in August 2026, the case, two Muslim men in Vienna signed a private contract that included an arbitration clause. They explicitly agreed that any disputes would be resolved in a private arbitration tribunal applying Islamic law, specifically Ahlus Sunnah al-Jama'ah, a reference to Sunni Sharia principles according to equity in the best of their knowledge and belief. The business or contractual dispute arose. The details involved shared property and related claims. The Sharia-based arbitration tribunal ruled against one of the men and ordered him to pay the other 320,000 euros. Damn. You know, if that was a dollar amount, that'd be about as much money as I'm worth right now. The man who lost refused to pay. He appealed to the secular Vienna Regional Court for civil matters. His arguments were Sharia is too vague and open to arbitrary interpretation by scholars. It violates Austria's fundamental legal values and public order. Austria's court rulings. The Austrian court upheld the Sharia arbitration award and ruled it fully enforceable under Austrian law. Key points of the judgment case reference Parties have contractual freedom to choose their own arbitration rules, including religious ones for civil property disputes. The court did not review the specific Islamic rules applied. It only checked whether the outcome contradicted Austria's core constitutional principles like equity, non-discrimination. It found no violation. Therefore, yeah. In short, the guy tried to get Austrian judicial system to block or overturn the Sharia ruling, but instead the court backed the Sharia tribunal and sided against him. So, to a certain extent, you walked into this, buddy. You signed it under these arbitration rules. These private arbitration rules. So, you know, and apparently he's Muslim background. So what would be really bad is if somehow Sharia courts got to enforce rulings against people who, like, say, no, I don't consider myself party to this court. I refuse to sign on to arbitration with this. I refuse to sign on to arbitration by this Sharia court, quote unquote. But then the court, like, forces them into it somehow. Or, like, the overarching national government's judicial system compels them to work with the Sharia court against their wishes. So we haven't gotten to that part where Sharia is being enforced against the will of somebody who didn't even want to be part of it, who didn't sign on to have it be an arbitrator in private. Called it a scandal that enables Islamic parallel societies. Agreed. Yeah, you're allowing people to have their own internal legal system that, you know, people are sort of like in a, that you will feel socially pressured to work within. And so that keeps you bound to that enclave, to that parallel society. Even Turkish, the secular Turkish cultural community in Austria protested, calling it absolute madness and warning of creeping Islamization. The governing OVP Conservative People's Party later pushed for new legislation to explicitly ban Sharia rules in Austrian arbitration and civil matters, arguing religious law has no place in the legal system. Like, that's the most, like, you know, like milquetoast conservative, right of center take you can have on it. So, yeah, that did happen. I don't know. Where are the links? Link, please. I'm stuffed up. I don't know if I'm about to have a cold or something. The back of my throat is raw. I've got sinuses backed up. I'm not feeling like out of it yet. God knows. Hey, maybe it's because I went around Animeverse and, you know, people were sick. So probably need to chug fluids. So, you know, maybe I'll wake up tomorrow morning and be like, oh God, I feel awful, and just call it in for a day. Where's my phone? Can I look up how many sick hours? I swear I only have like 28 right now. So I get like 8 hours, basically a day of sick leave off. See, I have an app that I can do my hours from, but it's, you know, incredibly cumbersome and sucks ass. Alright, go to my Observer account. Let me see what the, so, I'm on my personal, my VTuber account. I don't even have a personal account that I go by on my, go on Twitter with. Oh, wait, hold up. Let's see how many sick hours I have. Yeah, I don't know what is it with these these like business programs. They're like made like Access and Excel sheets, and it's totally unintuitive how to use them. All right, I found it. Sick leave. I got 34 hours, so that's 4 days minimum to be out. I might take it tomorrow. We'll see. Man, I feel I'm getting worse and worse. Like honestly, I probably need to go down to I probably just need to take a NyQuil before I go to sleep. Alright, I was gonna change to my Observer account and just see what shows up on here. Australian activist Drew Pavlov denied U.S. entry over Billy. Was he denied entry? Oh yeah, that's right. Pavlov's February 2nd post mocked Billie Eilish's Grammy speech where she said no one is illegal on stolen land and criticized ICE. He arrived on LAX on Friday under an ESTA visa waiver, but got grilled about the post, his activism, and visa suitability for planned media appearance. Agents cited the social media stunt as signaling potential trespassing intent, escorting him home without a full entry ban. Pavlov called it performance art, exposing hypocrisy. Yeah, I mean, that was the point, was you have to read between the lines. That's obviously what he's going to do, is he's not actually going to go to her fucking place and, like, you know, sneak in. Billie Eilish got me deported from the US. I spent 30 hours in custody at LAX trying to explain to the agents that my shitposts about moving into her mansion and stolen land were just a joke. Her lawyers seemed to have actually compiled a dossier on me because the agents were asking me about my entire history as an activist opposed to the Chinese government. Whether I had ever plotted to assassinate Chinese Communist Party officials, it was legitimately insane. I suffered for my art as an online shitposter. I was victimized and martyred by Billie Eilish. Nice AI art there. What the fuck even does this say on here? Look at that happy face. I guess some people are in fact actually legal on stolen land, and I am just a bad guy. Honestly, I'm legitimately one of the most misunderstood theorist artists in the 21st century. Yeah, so this is funny. Drew was not deported. He was denied entry to the country, as Drew himself acknowledges. He was denied entry. Okay, I didn't need a fucking quote tweet on that. Because he did not have the correct visa for the purpose of his visit. Because apparently he was going to go on Steven Crowder's show, of all things, and that you need a business visa for that. But that probably wouldn't have been like, they probably wouldn't have known to check him for that if he hadn't like caused this stir up. So he probably he's probably like, you know, flagged as, you know, somebody who doesn't get the proper visa. Meanwhile, I imagine there are plenty of people who go under, like, you know, the visa waiver program and then, you know, go on a podcast somewhere and they didn't get a business visa for that. LA mansion stunt. There was no stunt. He was he was joking around. So, yeah. 07 to Drew Pavlov. Rubio earns standing ovation at Munich for defending Western hair. Why the fuck is he getting the standing ovation for this shit while what's-his-face, Vance was getting booed, like, out the ass? Like, I don't get it. Like, I haven't watched the entire speech, but it just sounds like the same shit other than, like, I don't know, maybe Vance was far more critical of Europe and he just said it in a far more explicit way. I don't know, maybe they're all looking like, Rubio, please save us from Vance. Canada crushes France 10-2 to claim top seed at 2026 Olympics. Cortina Winter Olympics with 10-2 rout of France earned the #1 seed for the knockouts. In what sport? In hockey? Okay, so I guess it was for sake. No, hockey. I probably can't go on much longer, so honestly, I just do the news roundup. I'm going to start that now before I ramble any further. 22 hours ago. Alright, so the Starlink cutoff is like actually fucking with the Russians right now, but I think I covered that yesterday. So I had to send a message to somebody, so I don't know. Aaron hasn't tweeted. Alright, let's see. 19 hours ago. Ex-Prime Minister Ishiba Shigeru, wait, isn't it, which is his last name, gave some advice on Friday to the CRA, stating on TV that there's no point in fighting within a small party. They must identify where it can find common ground and unite the party. Dude, why don't you just fucking join them at this point? Ishiba said that the new CRA leader, Ogawa Junya, that's an interesting name. How would you even... Ogawa Junya. What's his name in, Junya? How do you even get that in characters? Like, you got the kanji for it, but how would you put that in katakana? Let me check something real quick. Because you have your syllabaries, so is there even a... Yeah, I guess there is a ya sound. So, although that is, you know, kind of out there. God, I need to go blow my nose. Please excuse me. Honestly, I don't know how much longer I can go at this point. I'm coming down with something. And I scheduled a meeting to review something that I had modeled up to get first impressions off of people before I even moved to draft, getting a proper fucking drawing for the thing. Whatever. Alright, so Ishiba said the CRA leader, Ogawa Junya, is neither a hereditary politician nor backed by powerful interests. He entered politics out of conviction. Isn't he a man worthy of respect in his own right? Why do I feel like Ishiba might jump ship? I swear to God, Ishiba also was didn't start out as an LDP politician. Yeah, short tenure. Politician Jiro Ishiba. He also held other high-ranking positions, including Minister of Home Affairs and Vice Minister of Construction. So, if he was in that position, then he probably was part of the LDP. Oh no, he started out as an LDP guy in 1986. Key figure in the LDP, running the party leadership multiple times, first in 2008, 2012, and 2018. Okay, no, he's been an LDP guy since the get-go.
So, interesting. The former Prime Minister also demanded answers from his own party over the decision to place ex-MIC Minister Murakami Seichiro, a close ally, low on the PR list, stating that it's not all good because he was able to win a seat. What's the MIC? Military Industrial Complex Minister? I'm not going to look into it. Okay, DPFP Secretary General Shiba Kazuya revealed Sunday that leader Tamaki Yuichiro will return as a member of the Lower House Commission on the Constitution after stepping down from the role due to an extramarital affair exposed in November 2024. No consequences, really. But I guess, like, you know, he's open to constitutional revision, so, but man, why has he got such a tense face in this? Just like, I don't know, what did he gain? Let's see here. He won an extra seat. So, like, I don't know what he's got to be tense about, but I guess he should, I guess he could be a little bit, upset that he's not gaining in anything. So, you know, the Takaichi sweep, the red wave, the red LDP wave, got him hard. Team Mirai, I don't know, this team, like, whatever this party, like, came out of nowhere and got 11 seats, and they're like pro AI. Tomoko Tamura lost 4 seats. Taro Yamamoto, not Yama or Yamamoto. Reiwa, they lost pretty much all their seats. And Kazuro Haraguchi, what is this party? Tax Cuts Japan Yuko Alliance, from 5 down to 1. Oh no, they gained 6 seats. Wait, what? Seats before 5, seats 1. Seat change up 1. What? Oh no, because they didn't exist. I'm missing the seat 1, so they did not exist. Wait, last election, seats before. Wait, this doesn't make sense. There's an error here. Last election and seats before. These two should be the same category. Alright, I guess I'm not understanding something. Back to this. Tamaki, what matters most is not the traditional debate where the ruling party determined to amend the Constitution at any cost, and the opposition party is adamant about not allowing a single character of amendment continue their posturing. This is because, let's see here. Secretary General Shinaba let it slip on NHK Sunday about the adjustments are underway for my return to the Constitutional Review Committee. This is because I believe one of the major themes of the Takai administration will be constitutional revision. Well, I think we all see that at this point. She's got the political capital to, at least in the lower house. The important thing is not the conventional constitutional debate, where the ruling party which wants to amend the Constitution no matter what, and the opposition parties which won't allow even a single character to be changed continue their positional talk. Instead, we must achieve careful consensus building between the ruling and opposition parties on constitutional amendments that are truly necessary in response to changes in the times. The Democratic Party for the People drafted the text from which the National Diet Function Continuity Clause in 2021, which establishes rules for maintaining national diet functions during large-scale disasters and other emergencies, and under the Kishida administration reached an agreement among 5 caucuses, the LDP, Komeito, Japan Innovation Party, unaffiliated members, and the DPP. It's important and realistic to advance amendment discussions that maximally respect these past efforts and achievements in consensus building between ruling on opposition parties in the Constitutional Review Committee. Every time an election ends, the members of the Constitutional Review Committee are completely renewed, and we need ingenuity to prevent it from turning into a say whatever you want convention, where time just passes with everyone spouting off as if we're back to square one. I'm not lying, this sounds like politicians speak to me for a moment, but whatever. Regarding the National Diet Function Continuity Clause, as well, there are divisions with the LDP between the House of Representatives and the House of Councilors on the positioning of the House of Councilors emergency session. There are divisions with the LDP between the House of Representatives and the House of Councilors on the positioning of the House of Councilors emergency session. I very much hope that they can unify their opinions. Moreover, on Article 9 revision, opinions are divided between the LDPs explicitly stating the self-defense force argument and the Japan Innovation Party's delete Article 9 argument. Okay, I didn't understand that. I thought the LDP was all for like getting rid of Article 9. Maybe that was something explicitly that Abe wanted. I probably need to look into what he has explicitly said about Article 9 in the past. I know there's the line that he wants to be like a normal nation, and that means revising Article 9. But I didn't know that Ishin was so wanted to just straight up delete Article 9. In any case, rather than letting the discussion scatter, I want to move the debate forward in a direction that converges them. As the Democratic Party for the People, we will lead constructive constitutional discussions. That comes off as like talking and not bold, decisive action that I want. But then again, you know, fence-sitting, fence-sitting talk for the sake of talkers, I guess, are a constituency, hence he got all those seats. So, but I don't know. It comes off as too like wishy-washy to me, but whatever. Rather than achieving careful consensus building between the ruling opposition parties on the constitutional amendments that are genuinely necessary to respond to changing times. It sounds like he's signaling to me like, yeah, we need to like get over this part about Article 9 about not having a military and actually formally have a military. Oh. Nikkei reports that Prime Minister Takaichi is eager to pursue cooperation with the United States to secure rare earths off the coast of Minami Torishima Ogasawara Islands. This would support reinforcing supply chains without relying heavily on China. Again, extracting the minerals is the easy part. Processing them is the hard part because you need tons and tons of liquid acid to separate out the stuff. And that is environmentally toxic as hell. Oh, so they extracted some mud from this area? Man, I was hearing about this shit all the way back in like 2018. Or 2018. Or 2017. And now we're only finally just moving on it. Seems like just like any time that there's a need to do something, Western governments are just so hamstrung with bureaucracy that they can barely function. And it takes a decade to get from, here's an exploitable resource, to us actually exploiting it. All right. What's OSINT Defender got to say? Oh. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security has expanded its effort to identify Americans who oppose immigration and customs enforcement in recent months, sending tech companies including Google, Reddit, Discord, and Meta, who owns both Facebook and Instagram, 100 administrative subpoenas which consist of legal requests for the names, email addresses, telephone numbers, and other identifying data behind social media accounts that track or criticize ongoing immigration operations by the Trump administration. 4 government officials and tech employees privy to the request have told the New York Times. I mean, I'm sure Biden did something similar to this for anybody. Like, there was the issue where the FBI was sicked on people who were complaining to local Virginia governments about transgender male to females going into girls' locker rooms. And there was like one incident where there was an assault that happened by a male to female transgender on a girl inside a school restroom. And it was like hushed as hard as possible. So, yeah, this has been going COINTELPRO. There's that other case that Nemitz brought up of the FBI like sending agents in to infiltrate anti-globalization protests. So I don't think this is anything out of the usual. And ultimately, I guess I just have to be upfront here. Like, I'm okay with us tracking down these people. I mean, and I guess it's up to these. And if we want to have this thing that we can't just give these administrative subpoenas. So I guess they're administrative subpoenas versus judicial subpoenas, because I guess courts would not actually, which could give, like, you know, judicial sanction to whatever these things are. So it's up to the companies to break down or not, but I guess they're feeling the tides change here. I think everyone sort of felt the tides changing and sort of like started kowtowing to the Trump administration. So yeah, you know, civil liberty encroaching, yeah, but you know, this is the country we deserve to a certain extent. Reddit, Meta, and Google voluntarily complied with some of the requests from Homeland Security for identifying details of users critical of immigration and custom enforcement. What do you know? They bent the knee. So the people who didn't are Discord. So Meta covers both Facebook and Instagram. So I know I've seen some of the, you know, various cosplay girls, because I imagine a lot of them skew left. Like, if you're generally into anime and stuff like that, you probably have a leftward bent in life. So I have seen, you know, in some of their stories promoting anti-ICE stuff. You know, a lot of them don't, I would say, but some of them have. So, you know, and so does my coworker. I've seen some plenty of anti-stuff and probably more explicit stuff. Not accusing her of wanting to overthrow the government or anything, but, you know, some more stuff that's not as mild as other people, like saying, posting like private PSAs about like what to do if you encounter ICE. So, this mini nuclear reactor from Valor Atomics is being transported to the Utah San Rafael Energy Lab via Hill Air Force Base, Utah. The reactor itself has been loaded on U.S. Air Force C-17. Why are we moving a portable nuclear reactor? The first ever airlift of a nuclear reactor ancillary systems via C-17, opening a wide aperture for strategic nuclear deployment around the world. 3 C-17 Globemaster 3s with the USS Air Force 2nd and 47th Airlift Wings participated in the transfer Sunday of 8 nuclear modules, part of a next-generation miniaturized nuclear reactor built by the El Segundo-based energy startup Valor Atomics in a nuclear energy initiative conducted jointly by the Department of Defense and Department of Energy, dubbed Operation Windlord. Windlord? The C-17 transported the reactors from March Air Reserve Base near Riverside in Southern California to Hill Air Force Base located outside Salt Lake City, Utah, following a ceremony at March which included Secretary of Energy Chris Wright, Michael Duffy, and Undersecretary of War for Acquisition and Sustainment, as well as founder of Valor Atomics, entrepreneur Isaiah Taylor. What is the term El Segundo? That makes me think that it's like based out of Mexico. Once on the ground in Utah, the module is part of Valor Atomics War 250, a next-generation reactor design that uses helium coolant and graphite moderators, expected to operational by 4th of July. Is expected to be, I think there's a B missing here, operational by 4th of July. Will be moved to Utah San Rafael Energy Lab in Orangeville for extensive testing and evaluation under the U.S. Department of Energy's Nuclear Reactor Pilot Program, established in response to President Trump's Executive Order 143001. Hats with the slogan, "Make Nuclear Great Again," were handed out during Sunday's ceremony at March Air Reserve Base. This is the movement I like to see, pushing nuclear technology or nuclear energy technology, because that's what we need these days. And that is really useful. Instead of having to have a logistics chain keeping oil flowing to someplace, you can have forward operating bases on a nuclear reactor that can provide electricity without having to that negates having a vulnerable oil supply chain. Now then again, that's a nuclear reactor, so it better have like a lot of safeguards to like lock it down and shut itself in case anything goes wrong. Because I know in subs, there's some material that if like things are going bad, they just flood the reactor chamber with it and then eats up all the neutrons and absolutely kills the engine. It basically bricks the nuclear reactor. So when you do that, there's like no going back. You have to extract that reactor and break it apart. There's no like, you can't flush the system after that. So once you make that decision that you're screwed, we have to have a high tolerance for, all right, if this forward operating base is where we have one of these portable nuclear generators, if it's coming under threat, we brick the, we have to have a high tolerance for like, all right, situation is bad, not just necessarily untenable, but it's bad enough that we're afraid it could become untenable, that we're going to brick the entire reactor and then leave. Brick it and then disassemble it as fast as possible. Or disassemble any of the parts we don't left in enemy hands and then bug out. So, alright, let's just go to Clash Report. Sorry at the 51. I'm going about as fast as I usually do. I don't know, what else is going on? Netanyahu, we all have to fight on the information level or the disinformation level as well. But it's not just disinformation, just the raw numbers coming out of Gaza make you look bad. There's no disinformation about it. Meloni distanced herself from German Chancellor Merz's harsh criticism of Trump and rejects attacks on MAGA culture. We must work toward greater integration between Europe and the United States. It is very important to strengthen what unites us rather than what divides us. When asked about Merz's criticizing MAGA, no, I would say no. These are political evaluations that belong to party politics, not the competence of the European Union. So she's trying to be far more friendlier to Trump than Merz is. Got it. I think she knows where her bread is buttered. No, she's like, you know, give up the moralizing at this point. We need to hold this alliance together. And by that, I mean being compliant with Trump to avoid saying subservient. Trump told Netanyahu in December that he would support Israeli strikes on Iran's ballistic missile program if nuclear talks between Washington and Tehran fail. U.S. military and intelligence officials have since begun internal talks about how the U.S. could assist Israel, including providing aerial refueling and securing overflight permissions. I don't know, will this tank any of the negotiations we have going on in Oman at this point? What's this a reply to? I'm not going to pay attention to this one. Turkish President Erdogan has postponed his planned visit to the United Arab Emirates due to UAE President Sheikh Mohammed. Oh yeah, I am coming down with something. I'm not even sure I want to play a game at this point. Because I'm just feeling shitty because I'm going to have to continue to talk. So I think I might actually abort stream. Now, I'm feeling it come over me like hard and fast now. I picked up something at Animeverse. Fuck. Yeah, I'm calling it now. I need to go get some NyQuil, some cough drops, and then rest easy for the night. And if I'm magically better in the morning, oh well. Turkish Prime Minister Erdogan has postponed his planned visit to the United Arab Emirates due to UAE President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan's health condition. They have a president? Why don't I look this up real quickly? What's their government structure? Emirati, Arabic, and English. Ethnic groups, South Asian. Holy shit, they're 38.2% Indian. That's all the like indentured servants that they have. Lots of Bangladeshis, Pakistanis. And Emirati Arabs are only 11% of the population. Jesus Christ. Government, federal, semi-presidential, elective, semi-constitutional monarch. So what, they have a president and a monarch? A sheikh, I guess? Is a federal semi-presidential state under a semi-constitutional monarchy made up of 7 hereditary tribal monarchy-style political units called sheikdoms and is governed by a federal Supreme Council made up of the ruling sheikhs. All responsibilities not granted to the federal government are reserved to the individual emirate. A percentage of revenues from each emirate are allocated to the UAE central budget. All right, so it's a weird federal system with a president Uses the title Sheikh instead of Emir to refer to the rulers of individual emirates. The title's used to due to the Sheikhdom style governing system. All right, that's weird. So there's a bunch of independent Sheikhdoms that unite and have a president. Interesting. It expressed his sorrow for Al Nahyan's recent health issue and conveyed his wishes for a speedy recovery. All right, weird. Sudanese armed forces say it destroyed a UAE-backed Rapid Support Forces RSF terror group air defense system, likely Chinese-made FB-10 mobile short-range air defense missile system in Abu Zakad, West Kordofan. There's no audio to this. Man, that is so blurry. I don't even know what you're shooting at. Oh, there it is. There's the explosion. China's massive tree planting campaign around the Taklamakan Desert has turned its once barren edges into a net carbon sink, meaning that they now absorb more CO2 than they emit. Interesting. The Taklamakan was once described as a biological void, now shows measurable plant activity. The things some governments are capable of doing is de-desertifying areas. And one of the things that to do that is trees, because trees like help like keep the ground from drying up or keep it stable. I'm thinking wrong. It's just like in the wake of the Great Dust Bowl in the 1930s, the federal government came out like one of the things that you need to do to prevent this from happening is you got to plant trees places, because that helps keeps the ground from like being blown up. It keeps it like more moisture, keeps it more like together and turning from it keeps it from desertifying an area. So it's amazing that you can have trees that operate out like this unless they had to flood the area. U.S. Air Force officer says random Twitter users tracking military flights are publishing info that would be considered secret or maybe even top secret if done internally, and it's making OPSEC extremely hard. Major Claire Randolph, U.S. AFCENT, Air Force Central Command, Chief of Weapons and Tactics. You've got Twitter feeds of randos just studying where our airplanes go and publishing it. If U.S. analysts did some of that, we would consider it secret or maybe even top secret.
I'm actually reading a recent article about the 35th anniversary of Desert Storm. It's funny that this one is the same. I mean, you've got Twitter feeds that...
Well, probably U.S. Judicial precedent means that they're allowed to do it. So either we got to start flying planes without emitting IFF, or you just got to learn to deal with the fact that you got to learn how to fake people out. Instead of flooding it, you have to put up tons of more airplanes so nobody knows what's important to look after. All right, give me 1 second. I'm going to go get a tissue. Yeah, so I'm probably coming down with something. Yeah, I'm feeling it right now. I need to go get a NyQuil. I need to go make some tea, and I need to just like lock into like sulk. Oh yeah, this is something stupid that happened. Big Dutch Defense Minister Gies Tweeman hints that software independence is possible for F-35 jets. He literally said you can jailbreak an F-35. When asked if Europe can modify it without US approval, that's not the point. We'll see whether the Americans will show their true colors. And then he dropped this. I'm going to say something I should never say, but I'll do it anyway. Just like your iPhone, you can jailbreak an F-35. I won't say more about it. So somebody quote tweeted this. What? So I guess maybe this guy's mocking how simplistic he makes it sound, but I guess in theory, if it's a computer, you can hack into it and jailbreak it. Although probably to jailbreak an F-35's computer systems is going to be magnitudes more complicated and delicate a task than jailbreaking your personal iPhone. So, and then there's the diplomatic fallout to happen. Like if you didn't agree that you weren't allowed to do that, then, thank God we kept the F-22 ourselves. Yep. Oh, this has got to be total bait for habitual line crosser. Let me check if he's on here. Oh yeah, American Sun pointed out, you'd have to be an idiot to spend literally billions of dollars on a defense program without some form of access to the source code that makes it run. Pack it in at that point and admit you're just an auxiliary to the big boys. I'm not exactly sure what he's saying here. Are you accusing... He is right. They can hack it, and Israel did this. Also, the problem isn't somewhere, really some off switch. It's the maintenance supply chain data upgrades. Right. And the possibility of vulnerabilities in the absence of those continual upgrades. Oh yeah, so like that's the point, because if you're in the program and you don't have access to the source code, so you can like, you know, make your own upgrades as needed instead of just be constantly reliant on what Lockheed Martin pushes out, that puts you in a vulnerable position. By the way, what is with this dude's hair being this long? That is completely out of regs. Lockmart doesn't give source code access to the US military as well. The US government absolutely has access to the source. Alright, well, I guess we need a fact check on that one. I never understood why foreign countries purchase US hardware and complain about not having independence. If you want independence, sink billions into your own programs. But they don't have the willpower to do that, because they're so divided across countries who have their own, who want their own access at the manufacturing and sourcing of it all. Whereas the US, we're big enough to have an entire industry all for ourselves and then for exports. So at some points, like, Europe is too fundamentally divided. Even Germany and France can't get together on a next generation air dominance air platform, a fighter plane, to be more colloquial about it. So, you know, one person needs to fucking lead and take the lead on it. Like, I'm thinking, like, you know, if World War II had ended the other way, it would be a German-dominated military sector where they're the ones producing all the military equipment and subservient countries under them are buying it and have no independence. So if any of them revolt, they lose access to all their equipment. They lose access to the equipment. And by the computer age, if like, you know, if they started expanding into this age, then, you know, Germany, like in the apps, as soon as like a subservient satellite French state breaks away or tries to like revolt, Germany could like kill all their source code to all their fancy aircraft that they gave them. So, like, that's the only way I can think this would work, is if like one country, like say a Napoleonic-led Europe, a French-led Europe thanks to Napoleon, or a German-led Europe after World War I or World War II, basically comes up with the military hardware and then enforces their designs on all their subject countries. That would be the way to do it. Or, you know, depending on, you know, how much they trust that country as an ally, allowing them to license production of their similar design stuff in there. So they would have a big enough market for themselves for military equipment, and they'd be the sole actor in it. Like the US is amongst all that's, you know, among the United States, but the states don't each have individual military equipment. The military is essentially controlled by the federal government. So, oh, I guess I'll look over this again. So it would be up to these companies to tell them to fuck off. Why Discord of all people? Why I feel like they're the ones who aren't going to give up, because they're probably ideologically ingrained not to. So they seem to be the one holding out. All the other big ones seem to know how to bend the fucking knee when they need to. So I don't follow Christy Noam. So follow Google. Courts have ruled 440,000 times that ICE jailed people illegally. It hasn't stopped. The court has made its decision. Now let's see them enforce it. I don't know. Somebody want to counter signal him on this? Oh yeah, here's the I don't know where somebody's drawing this from, but this was like some data. You know, I'll like it and see if I get a quote. Your numbers are suspect. American immigration costs. Let's see here. Is it mistaken U.S. citizen detentions? All right, deaths in ICE custody. 1 death per 1,000 detainees. Ooh, this actually is coming to look at me like it's actually like, you know, ChatGPT bullshit. I'd actually like, this is a good infographic to look at, but I think I need like actual source dates for all this shit. 1 death per 1,000 detainees versus less over here. So, mistaken deportations of U.S. citizens. All right, there's no sourcing on this, so take it with a grain of salt. Back up. Anybody in here counter signaling him? Few quotes. Liar as usual. Oh, he's citing a Reuters article. Fuck guys, thank you IceGov for all you do, thank you. They'll never stop. Any American arrested were acting illegally. Federal ICE officers tasked with the President and Congress to arrest and deport all illegals in the United States. Just like Obama, Clinton, and Bush before, it's the law. All activists, demo-rat court judges are wrong. So, you know, how many of these, like, saying they illegally jailed people are coming from lower courts? And will they be held up later up? Trump should have done like Obama and just deported them without a hearing. I don't remember Bill complaining about that. I don't know. I was looking for like, I don't know, Will Chamberlain to counter signal this. Because he's actually a lawyer with Article 3 Project. What's the point of these guys? We support constitutionalist judges. Okay. And the IAP, Internet Accountability Project. All right. Mostly been retweeting stuff. Oh yeah, everyone's down on Maskey. Man, Massey has really like lowered my, like I used to appreciating him like as the one like lone fiscal conservative screeching about too high spending, but now he's just made himself like out to be like, you know, a villain on be anti-Trump figure. So I don't know what happened to him. Maybe he's actually like a little bit loose in the head and just like, you know, I thought maybe, you know, he could withstand a Trump challenger in his district, but after everything he's done, constantly going after Trump and trying to use Epstein as the sword with which to beat him, it hasn't gone well. So I wonder what his actual chances are these days. So, all right, it's over the hour. I said I needed to call it a night because I'm already feeling my nose swell up again with snot. I need to go get something because I can feel it happening. So I need to take care of myself for the night. Man, I just keep on like avoiding Dark Souls. I really just don't want to play it in actuality. Once I got to it, I just like, I didn't like it. Or maybe I need to get back into it and find another area to grind for a bit. So I'll call it for a night. So good night, good luck. See you all next